Wow, they're already doing deals. Like they're trying to give you a free tire change. They're trying to give you a free car wash and all types of stuff to get out to these games. This is wild. Look at how empty this arena is. Look at how empty it is. The cheapest ticket, $6.
This is flat out wild. WNBA playoff tickets, the crown jewel of any basketball season, are going for as little as $6. Yes, $6. That's not a typo or some limited time gimmick. $6 is less than a Chipotle burrito with extra guac, less than 2 fancy coffees, and even less than parking outside the arena. For the price of a drive-through meal, you're getting access to a WNBA playoff game, the very stage meant to showcase the best of women's basketball. And here's the stunner. We're not just talking nosebleeds. Lower bowl seats, prime playoff real estate, are right there for $6.
WNBA is in a panic right now. WNBA higher-ups are panicking. They don't know what's going to happen. I already let y'all know. I showed y'all the numbers that they was concerned about the playoff ratings and what they will be for the networks. They're concerned about it already. No Caitlin Clark here to carry everybody. They don't know how these numbers are going to look. Tickets are they're already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets.
The real headline, Caitlin Clark isn't on the floor. She's not lighting up the crowd with leaps or dropping passes made for highlight reels. She's in sweats, stuck on the bench. And just like that, the entire basketball world, especially the WNBA, feels flipped upside down. So the question is, who's responsible for this mess? Drop your thoughts and let us know in the comments below.
Back and forth from all the WNBA players that the league is not just Caitlin Clark. Stop acting like the league is not just Caitlin Clark. There are other people who are doing. So Caitlin Clark has been injured. So she hasn't been playing. Since Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin.
The league is Caitlin.
This isn't just about cheap tickets. It's a warning shot about value, mismanagement, and just how fragile the WNBA looks without the one player who reignited its spotlight. When Caitlin Clark was healthy, the Indiana Fever weren't just thriving. They were a cultural phenomenon. Her games weren't simple matchups. They were events. Fans traveled across states just to witness her in person. Resale prices soared past $1, 000 for a single seat, while courtside spots ran $4 to $5 grand. Clark didn't just boost attendance. She made Indiana basketball's hottest ticket, overshadowing the Pacers in their own city and selling out arenas that had never dreamed of such demand. Now, the same playoff tickets are going for pocket change. You could literally pay your way in with the coins rattling in your car's cup holder. 2 tickets might cost less than a snack run, with enough left over for a hot dog. A franchise once thriving off Clark's gravitational pull is suddenly scrambling to fill seats, practically pleading for fans who once emptied their wallets just to breathe the same arena air.
Understandable in this era to figure that tickets for playoff games are more expensive than the regular season, but Fever tickets for Tuesday night remain very affordable. $12, $13. I don't know what they're going to lie about as far as attendance goes. We're going to get into that momentarily. There are tons of tickets, hundreds of tickets available, if not thousands of tickets still available for tonight's game at a cheap price of a bag of a hoagie sandwich and a bag of chips from Wild.
The collapse isn't subtle, it's glaring. This is playoff basketball, the stage that should command peak demand. Yet courtside seats are selling for just $200. $200 for the WNBA postseason, a price you'd expect at a high school state championship, not the league's pinnacle. The contrast is staggering. Indiana went from being the hottest ticket in basketball to struggling so badly, it feels like they can't even give seats away.
WNBA is in a frenzy right now. The cash cow is not available to play. The golden goose is not available right now. That is Caitlin Clark. So now everyone has to get their numbers on their own. We saw Caitlin Clark bring in a whopping 1.8 million viewers for her first playoff game versus the Connecticut Sun last season. That was more than all of the other playoff games that was played that day combined. More than all of the other playoff games played that day combined.
This, my friends, is the Caitlin Clark effect. Living proof of how a single player can completely shift the trajectory of an entire sport. When Clark was healthy, Indiana Fever home games averaged over 17,000 fans, shattering records with ease. That's not just impressive, it's transformative. To put in perspective, she outrusted several NBA teams in attendance. Opponents weren't just preparing for her on the court. They were scrambling to move games into larger arenas just to meet demand. The Washington Mystics ditched their 4,200-seat gym for a 14,000-seat NBA arena. The Chicago Sky abandoned their 10,400-seat home to host a Fever at the United Center, packing in over 20,000 fans. Think about that. A league reshaping schedules, swapping venues, and cashing in, all because of one player. Last year, the cheapest ticket to see the Fever face the Connecticut Sun in the opening round of the 2024 playoffs was $133. This season, let's just say it's nowhere close. Then came the gut punch.
Last year, the cheapest ticket available to see the Indiana Fever at the Connecticut Sun in the first round of the 2024 WNBA playoffs, $133. Let's just say it's not near that expensive this year. It's not. So right there, Indiana Fever just had Caitlin Clark cut a WWE promo.
Fans who once camped outside arenas just to see Caitlin Clark warm up are now scrolling past $6 playoff seats like they're expired coupons. What should have been a packed, electric atmosphere turned into a half-empty arena filled with echoes of what-ifs. The message is crystal clear. Without Clark, the magic vanishes. And it doesn't end at ticket sales. Her absence ripples through every corner of the WNBA. TV ratings, merchandise, media buzz, all of it takes a hit. Earlier this season, when Clark missed just 5 games, the impact was brutal. Viewership didn't dip, it cratered, down 55% overnight. Games that normally drew over 1 million viewers suddenly struggled to crack 350,000. That's not a slump, that's a collapse.
You can get courtside seats for $200. It is $200 to go sit courtside. Second row courtside behind the basket is $200. 1 to 3 tickets. It is $200 to sit courtside this game. This is in fact the cheapest. It is cheaper to go to this Fever game. This is the cheapest it's been to get into the Fever all year. Why? Why is it the cheapest?
Even the All-Star game, billed as the WNBA's crown jewel of the summer, took a massive blow. Caitlin Clark was supposed to captain a team, headline the weekend, and turn the festivities into must-watch television. Instead, sidelined by injury, she never suited up, and viewership plunged by 36%. It's like showing up to a concert expecting Beyoncé, only to learn she canceled. Sure, the other performers might be talented, but let's be honest, you're not staying. That's what the WNBA feels like without Caitlin Clark. And for Indiana, the reality is even harsher. The Fever have built their entire identity around her. She runs the offense. She drives the marketing. She's a reason ESPN puts Fever games in prime time. Without her, they're left trying to sell fans on Kelsey Mitchell's 20 points per game, Aaliyah Boston's steady dominance in the paint, or Lexi Ho's relentless hustle. All terrific players, no doubt, deserving of recognition. But the harsh truth is undeniable. The market has spoken, and right now, it's speaking through $6 playoff tickets in arenas filled with empty seats.
The last time the Indiana Fever posted a video of Caitlin Clark talking was almost a month ago. But they know who they need to post when it's time to sell tickets. Damn! Putting CC front and center only when it's time to sell tickets. Oh boy. Oh boy. And we're talking about the tickets, folks. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm just a lonely messenger. That's it. Look at these ticket prices. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Look at these ticket prices. $13, $12, $55 for section 100, $27, $147 for section 5, $55 for section 19, $330 for courtside seats.
This isn't just Indiana's problem. It's a league-wide reckoning. For years, the WNBA has chased mainstream relevance with rebrands, slogans, and endless "the future is now" campaigns. Nothing stuck until Caitlin Clark arrived. She was lightning in a bottle, the breakthrough star they've been waiting for. But instead of protecting her, instead of elevating her, the league left her exposed to cheap shots, overly physical defense, and inconsistent officiating until her body finally gave out. Now, the consequences are impossible to ignore. The postseason, meant to be the league's crown jewel, has become an embarrassment. Ticket prices are bottoming out, TV ratings on the verge of collapse, and all the momentum Clark created has vanished into thin air. Worse still, it's not bad luck, it's negligence. The WNBA had its golden goose, and they treated her like just another player. And now, the cost of that failure is visible for the world to see, plastered across every ticket site /$6 playoff seats, a glaring symbol of how quickly the league squandered its biggest opportunity.
I think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
Let's zoom out for a moment, because this entire situation exposes something the WNBA has never wanted to say out loud. They need Caitlin Clark more than they've ever needed any player in league history. This isn't LeBron James leaving Cleveland and the Cavaliers slipping back into irrelevance. It's far more alarming. What we're witnessing is a realization that the league's business model, its momentum, and even its identity are all tied to one 23-year-old point guard who was left unprotected until her body gave out. The numbers paint the picture with brutal clarity. In 2024, the WNBA saw unprecedented growth, and nearly all of it traced back to Clark. Attendance skyrocketed by 48% year over year. A staggering 54 games sold out, obliterating every previous record. The average crowd ballooned from just 6,615 in 2023 to over 9,000 in 2024. For a league that had battled for decades to consistently fill seats, this was nothing short of miraculous. The television side echoed the same story. Networks reported ratings records whenever Clark stepped on the court. She wasn't simply a basketball star. She was a gravitational force pulling women's basketball into the mainstream spotlight.
Teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are some teams, the league is afraid that there are some teams' games where you could get into the playoff game for $6. That is how low some of these ratings might be and how low some of these ticket prices might be.
Here's the problem. When an entire league's growth leans as heavily on a single player, what happens when that player can't suit up? The answer is sitting in plain view, in the empty rows and the $6 playoff tickets. The dark side of record-breaking growth is fragility. The WNBA built its house on one pillar, and the moment that pillar cracked, the entire structure started to wobble. The timing of Caitlin Clark's injury couldn't have been worse. This was supposed to be the league's victory lap, the culmination of momentum it had never experienced before. Expansion was underway, with new franchises already on the horizon. An 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal, set to begin in 2026, was being prepared. Player salaries were being renegotiated. Corporate sponsors were eager to cash in. For the first time, the WNBA was on the cusp of breaking into the broader cultural conversation alongside the other major professional leagues. And then disaster struck. Their brightest star, the player responsible for nearly 27% of the league's entire economic activity, was sidelined just before the playoffs. It's like a restaurant finally earning its first Michelin star, the reservation book overflowing, only for the head chef to call in sick on opening night. That's the gut punch the WNBA is now enduring.
But Caitlin Clark was first. You know what would have also put asses in seats? Indiana Fever clearing Caitlin Clark to play the game of basketball. That would have done it. I promise you. I promise you that would have done it. Again, I believe we deserve to know who ordered the code red. It's a lot different if it is Caitlin Clark and her people believe that, and her medical team believe that she could not play. If it was Stephanie White in the Indiana Fever, I believe that changes everything, as far as I'm concerned.
And the fans, the very people who fueled all that growth, made their stands clear almost immediately. These weren't casual spectators. They were diehards. They flew across the country to Indiana. They bought Clark's jerseys by the truckload. They structured their summers around her schedule. But the second Clark was ruled out of the postseason, they voted with their wallets. Courtside seats for $200? Pass. General admission for $6? Maybe, if nothing better was happening that night. I end one swift blow. The foundation of the WNBA's so-called golden era was exposed. It wasn't the league driving demand. It was Clark. That's not a slight against the Fever's other stars. Kelsey Mitchell dropping 20 a game deserves respect. Aaliyah Boston's dominance in the paint deserves credit. Lexi Hull's hustle deserves recognition. But the market doesn't care about fairness. It cares about stars. Fans don't connect with abstract ideas like competitive balance. They connect with greatness. And for the last 2 years, Caitlin Clark has embodied greatness in women's basketball. Her absence didn't just hurt attendance. It revealed how shallow the league's broader appeal remains without her.
It's $9. This is the cheapest it's been to get into an Indiana Fever game all year. This is actually the cheapest it's been. Look, I still think it's going to be nearly a sellout. Because, I'm sorry, if I lived anywhere near Indiana, 10 quid, I'd go to the game. I'd go to the game. I'd absolutely go to the game. I don't care. I'll pay $10. It's cheaper to be in the arena watching the game than it is to sit at home. Probably more expensive than it would cost to go to pay for one game on Fever Direct, I'd say, if that's a thing.
For Indiana, the lesson cuts even deeper. The franchise built its entire identity around Caitlin Clark, and rightly so. They drafted her first overall, redesigned their system around her strengths, and made her the centerpiece of everything. She wasn't just part of the puzzle. She was the puzzle. Yet they let her play through nagging injuries all season long, absorbing hard fouls, off-ball hits, and referees who often looked the other way. Every time she sat, the drop in attendance and viewership was immediate. That should have been the wake-up call. Instead, they kept pushing her through, and now they're paying a price for short-sighted management. The reality is harsh. The WNBA's recent surge, while historic on paper, isn't as solid as it seemed. When the absence of one player triggers a collapse this severe, 55% drops in TV ratings, 36% plunges in all-star viewership, and playoff tickets selling for $6. That's not sustainable growth. That's fragility disguised as momentum. It's temporary, brittle, and exposes vulnerabilities that no press release or marketing slogan can spin away.
So, like a lot of people, I started following the WNBA. And I'm sorry, I hate to sound cliche, but it is because of Caitlin Clark. I flew my family to Indy to catch the game opener, and it was just such an amazing thing to see. We fell in love with the city. We, of course, also fell in love with the Pacers, and we followed every game.
Superstar, top to bottom. You never seen a woman ball like that, pass the ball like that. It's like that fire. You downplayed it, try to shoot, try to kill it. You almost killed it, but thank God Kayla's had a strong human being. The fact that they're trying to replace her with someone subpar talent, subpar entertainment values is ridiculous, and try to give credit to those who don't really deserve credit, and try to players be the face who aren't really the face. But one thing about the face of the league, it's not chosen by the league. It's chosen by...
Those empty seats tell a story, and it's not a flattering one. They reveal that the WNBA doesn't have a deep pool of stars capable of keeping the fire alive. They reveal that the league needs Caitlin Clark far more than Caitlin Clark needs the league. Without her, playoff basketball in Indiana isn't a spectacle. It's an afterthought. Fans follow greatness, and right now, the WNBA only has one player who delivers that in the eyes of the mainstream. For the past 2 seasons, Caitlin Clark has been the secret ingredient that made the league finally feel like a major professional sport. Without her, it's back to bland. And those $6 playoff tickets? They're not just a bargain, they're an indictment. A flashing red warning light screaming. This league built its future on a single star and never created a plan B to SO. The real question isn't whether this is shocking, it absolutely is. The real question is whether the WNBA and the Indiana Fever will learn from it. Will they finally treat Clark like the generational superstar she is, not just in marketing campaigns, but with real protection on the floor and actual investment in her long-term health? Or will they keep pushing her body past the breaking point, gambling everything on the hope she can carry them forever, only to risk losing it all the second she can't? Because right now, the story is already being written by the empty seats at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And unless the league changes course, those seats won't just be tonight's image. They'll be the lasting symbol of what could have been the WNBA's golden era. Who do you think is to blame for this mess? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a video.